The McCartney name has been linked to the Australian Brahman industry since they bought their first Brahman bulls in 1942, with the McCartney brothers joining the Australian Zebu Society in 1953. Purchasing 3 head, originally from C.W. Wright, in the early 50s, the brothers went on to purchase 600 cows from Waverley to replenish their drought-depleted Bos Taurus herd. The McCartney brothers went on to sell Brahmans to Grey McCamley, the Bower family and Avondale. Even though now the early Brahman cattlemen are seen as visionaries, initially their introduction of Brahman cattle was seen as a huge backward step and treated with ridicule and derision.
Grandad always recalled with his older brothers, when he was at school, how he was teased and was called Brahman Bob. And I think it was the main reason was that they were a new breed and it was something different.
Sandy McCartney, with his wife Jamie and Sandy's parents John and Julie McCartney, now operate Bucca Partnership, a grazing enterprise encompassing 2 properties, Bucca and Toombra, and some leased country in the Bundaberg region. The enterprise covers almost 23,000 acres and joins close to 1,300 Brahman cows annually. The country run by Bucca Partnership varies from forest range country to wet coastal plains to heavily improved river country. The high rainfall and large parasite burden make running high content Brahman cattle a necessity.
Parasite burden here is just incredible. I've never seen any other part of Australia where it's like this, where with high rainfall we seem to ticks, flies, worms, and we find that the Brahmans can handle all of these things with management as well. The Brahman cattle walk in our range country and graze all of the paddock, not just the flats.
Grass-fed, HGP-free, EU-accredited bullocks are turned off some of the improved country, whilst some younger steers are sold as feeders. Recently, a B-double of Grasslands accredited cattle were marketed with 80% of the consignment receiving the Grasslands Boning Group 8 and less premium. This resulted in the cattle receiving a premium of 80 cents a kilogram over a generic commodity steer. Benchmarking this year's bullock production on the MyMSA database, Bucca Brahman bullocks are averaging a half index point above all male cattle from the wide Bay-Burnett region.
We strive hard to achieve good results in MSA grading. We don't use HGPs. We try and weigh our bullocks a month before slaughter. We try and achieve a 10 to 14 mil fat. What we found to achieve the high MSA gradings, we found that looking after our young cattle and trying to achieve a 0.6 of a kilo weight gain from weaning through to slaughter is helping us achieve great results.
Producing more steers than his river country can fatten, Sandy often markets the younger end of his steer turn-off as feeders. Whilst marketing Brahman feeder steers is very challenging at the moment, Sandy works very hard at presenting a quality article of correct weight and age, and sells to feedlots where his cattle have a history of high performance. Bucca's last mob of feeders sold to ACC's Brisbane Valley feedlot achieved a daily weight gain of 1.99 kilograms during a feeding period in which they received 50 plus inches of rain. This gain beats the group's Brahman average by 0.3 of a kilo and the overall group average by 0.15 kilos a day.
The feedlot manager was very impressed with our steers on how they performed compared to the rest of the cattle he was feeding under the conditions. So it makes us extremely happy as beef producers seeing your cattle do well on grass and grain for the markets. They actually love them and they want more of them.
Bucca's coastal bred high-grade Brahman females are also held in high regard, with Sandy not able to produce enough surplus PTIC heifers to satisfy demand. Sandy also AIs all of his maiden heifers to proven genetics in an effort to enhance his cow herd's genetic strength. Bucca Partnership source all of their bulls in the paddock, preferring to deal with breeders that have a strong commercial outlook.
The main reason we source all our bulls in the paddock, and this is a big one, we're grass-fed producers. I can't stress enough that when you're trying to fatten grass-fed bullocks to grade MSA, you must buy your bulls off the grass. Now you wouldn't go and get a kid from Brisbane eating KFC and stick him in a touring gang. And it's the same thing with buying bulls.
The McCartney family's combination of forest range country, high rainfall and extreme parasite burden make running a successful cattle operation challenging, to say the least. However, through the use of high-grade Brahman cattle and customer-focused management protocols, their business is not only financially successful, it is industry-leading and very personally satisfying for the families involved.
If only Brahman Bob could see me and Jamie now, I think he'd be pretty happy.